All right, we're live.
All right.
So how's it going? I see
Good,
you've got
man.
more books behind you now.
Always getting more books behind me. What's going on with John?
I have no idea.
He's just decided to disappear on us.
Yeah, yeah, he's missed a few weeks. It sounds like he's got some personal
Stuff
stuff
going on.
going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's discussed a little bit of it with me, but I don't know hardly all the details, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't gone public with it. So he's just stuff. So,
Private stuff. I mean,
yep.
that's thing. That's what.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's?
Yep. Sometimes stuff's more important than this stuff. So, so what's new with you? I always wind up going first, I feel like, and then I monopolize the call. So,
Well, I was thinking about a video I recently made, which is not necessarily from any individual book, but it's more like the learning I've had over the past 5 years, running 2000 books, growing 2000 books, and more importantly, like coaching hundreds of people at this time on building their online business. And what I've seen, what I've come to realize is that business ultimately is a game of sequencing.
uh-huh.
What that means is at any given time, you could be doing 1,000 different things, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I have the opportunity to read this book, to read that book, or to run Facebook ads, or to be on this call,
Also
or
true.
to do YouTube ads, or to do YouTube content, or to do podcast episodes, or improve my podcast ratings, or collect testimonials from so on and so forth, like, or start a new program, or work on the existing program, and so on. So there's 1,000 things you could be doing in your business any given week, any given day, any given
Yeah.
month, any given quarter, right? And there's so many different possibilities out there that most entrepreneurs, when they get into business, they think, okay, I'm going to do these things and I'll get the results.
Mm-hmm.
But the dangerous part of all of that is that when you are trying to do this and trying to do that and trying to throw stuff against the wall, trying to figure out, okay, one of these things will stick. What happens invariably is you're spraying your energy on 100 different things rather than working on the one highest
Yeah.
leverage move at that stage of your business. Because what I've found, the more I think, the more it keeps making more and more sense to me, is that if you don't get the sequencing right, everything is a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about doing things very efficiently. It's not about doing things right. It's about finding the right things to do.
Right.
That is way. Doing the right thing is a million times more important than doing things right. And doing the right thing or finding the right thing to do is the $1 million question in most businesses. Doing those things is the easy part. Finding the right thing to do is the hardest part in business. Identifying the right thing to do at this stage of your business, that is the hard work. That is the most difficult work. And it's hard because most people haven't walked that path yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't walked the path of whatever they're trying to build. So they are like just throwing all over the place, trying this, trying that, trying this, trying that, hoping that something will stick.
Well, it's not even that sometimes it's they're told that they have to do all these things, right? And so it's not I'm trying all these things, it's I've been told I have to do all these things, and so because of that I'm going to try and do all these things, and it turns out there are only two of them that are going to pay off.
Told by whom?
Them.
The
internet.
So that's the other problem. That's the bigger problem to think about, or in the sense what that means. What you're effectively saying is there's a lot of books, there's a lot of courses, there's a lot of seminars, there's a lot of trainings, there's a lot of programs out there.
Yep.
And the thing is, each of those programs has a time and place in your business, right? Maybe
Okay.
that time never comes for that program in your business. Maybe that time is today. The problem is, for someone who is just starting in business or just getting to that 100K mark or just getting to that 200K mark, they don't know what is that right thing to do
Right.
to get to 500K, right? They don't know what is the right thing to do to make multiple six figures. They are like, okay, I figured out how to make 30K, 40K, 50K, 60K, 70K, 100K, 200K, but I can't, like, I am just doing so many things. I'm trying all this shit. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm going crazy. And that is the story of most entrepreneurs today that I see. And
Mm-hmm.
pain the pain is because there are so many things they're trying to do rather than doing the one thing that has the maximum leverage at this stage of the business.
Right.
So all those people that say you should do this, you should do that, they're not wrong and they're not right. What I mean is they're right, they're not wrong because what they're teaching actually possibly works.
Mm-hmm.
But in your business, at this stage of the business, it's possibly not the right thing to do. I'll give the example
Right.
of my coaching clients. Came to me selling a $200 program. And he's like, man, I need to get to multiple six figures. I'm tired of like just kicking the tires. I really need your help. I'm like, all right, let's take a look. So I look at his business, and he's created this $200 program. He's like, this funnel, man, I've been trying so hard to make this funnel work. My landing page and this webinar and the sequence, this email sequence, and this and that, and on he's going. And I'm like, hang on a minute. What's who told, like, first of all, where did you get all of this idea? Oh, he's like, oh, I took this course, then I hired this marketing consultant to do this for me, to
Mm-hmm.
write this copy, to create the sales page and all this stuff. I'm like, hang on, but let's understand, like, how many people do you have on your list again? He's like, oh, I have 4,000 people. I'm like, and how big is your like channel? He's like, oh, I have 3,000 people. And are you running ads? He's like, no, I don't want to run ads right now. I just want to figure out organic before I run ads. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, there's no way in hell you make six figures or even multiple. You don't even make six figures for a $200 program selling to a list of 4,000 people. There's just no way in hell. You're going to go crazy trying to do
Yeah.
it. You're going the wrong way. You cannot go about doing this the way you're trying to build. And then I was like, okay, you need to build a high ticket program, sell it on phone, and
Mm-hmm.
so on and so forth. And that's your first step before you go to ads and things like that. So something as simple as that. It's not that the program that he took to figure out how to sell a course doesn't work. It's not that copywriting on sales page doesn't work. It's not that webinar funnels don't work. It's just the sequence is wrong. Doing the
Mm-hmm.
wrong things at the wrong stage of the business is pain, and more pain. And this is the most, like, of all the things I do in business and of all the things I do in my coaching, I feel like that is the most important thing that I have to teach people on, or I have to guide people on, to work on the right thing at this stage. At this
Right.
stage, there is only one thing that is the highest leverage move. Everything else is a waste of time. And if you don't get the sequencing right, you can waste days, weeks. Most of the times, I see entrepreneurs waste months and even years because they don't get the sequencing right. Because they're trying to do this, trying to do that. Oh, I have taken this course, I'm going to do this. Oh, I have taken this program, I'm going to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
they don't have the perspective. They have not walked the path. So they're like just trying to do something that does not work for their business at this stage of the business. It just does not
Right.
work. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of effort. It's going to run you to the ground. It's going to lead you to a path of like just getting burnt out by this business. So sequencing is so crucial. Sequencing is the ultimate strategy.
Yep.
Like I was reading this book. I was going back to this book. I've read it multiple times. Good Strategy, Bad Strategy by Richard Rummel. He's a professor at MIT. He talks about strategy, and ultimately strategy, he says, it's all about finding the point of highest leverage where the smallest effort unleashes the greatest effect.
Mm-hmm.
Point of leverage where the smallest effort unleashes the greatest effect. And that comes from sequencing.
Right.
It comes from, at this stage, what is the right thing to do in your business? at precisely this stage, this week. I mean, just last week we
Uh-huh.
were talking about what you were trying to do, right? In the mastermind, and I was trying to, like, you were saying, okay, I'm launching the podcast. I'm trying to get the podcast to go online and all these things. But what we found, and when I asked you, I was like, okay, what's the conversion rate on the opt-in page, where your funnels, the starting point of your
Right.
funnel, where people are coming into your dev influencers mastermind application, and you didn't have that data for 2 weeks, and I kept asking you, and finally you got the data, and you were like, oh, 45 people landed on that page and only 6 people opted into the form. As soon as I got that data, I was like, stop working on anything else, because this is your point of breakage right now. If you're getting 45 people onto that page and only 6 people are signing, it's completely wrong. You need to improve the copy on this page to get from 45 people coming into this page to 25 or 20 people signing up, because that triples your business overnight.
Right.
All the traffic shit is not going to help as much as getting the copyright right now. And that is the thing, right? At any given stage, any given week, I see this mistake happening, right? Because people are making they're not aware of this. It happens it happens so quickly. It happens without even people noticing that it's happening to them, that they're off on the wrong track.
Yep.
So it's almost like you have to keep coming back to what is the right sequence of events at this stage? What is the highest leverage move at this stage? What do I need to do at this stage? And most of the times, and this is where this book is so genius, he talks about the 3 keys of strategy, the 3 key components of strategy, which is the diagnosis. First is the diagnosis. Second is the guiding action plan, or a guiding policy. And third is the specific step of coherent actions. So in your case, what had happened was, when you were working on the podcast, the Dev Influencers podcast, you were working on it because the diagnosis from your mind was,
I need more traffic.
partly that I need to get more traffic onto this page.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And your guiding policy was to launch the podcast, and the set of coherent actions was to go through the podcast lens procedure.
Right.
But when we talked, and when I found out, actually, it's not necessarily that your it wasn't that your traffic was lacking in some ways. It was, yeah, of course, you can do that traffic and you can build a lot of traffic and get tons of people. But the challenge you were running, the diagnosis was that you were getting people on a landing page that was not converting.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else was broken after that. So something as simple as that, strategy starts with diagnosis. If someone diagnoses the problem wrong, they're going to come through and fix the wrong problem all along. Right?
Yeah.
If the entrepreneur is self-diagnosing their problem, they're inevitably diagnosing the wrong problem and they're fixing the wrong things.
Right.
So in the case of the coaching client I was telling you about, $200 program, he's fixing the sales funnel. He's fixing the sales page. Just fixing the wrong problem. He misdiagnosed the problem and he's now fixing the wrong problem. And this is the most insidious problem in business right now. People are not getting the sequencing right. They're diagnosing the wrong problems and they're solving wrong problems every single day, every single week. And then they're wondering why they're stuck. So sequencing, that's the name of the game in business. Get your sequencing right. Right thing at the right time. Everything else is a waste of time. And the problem is, there are only 2 ways to get it right. Either you can go bang your head against the wall and try 1,000 different things, or you can get a mentor or a coach to get this figured out. Everything else is just going to be trial and error. That's going to take way more time and effort and energy than just a mentor or a coach who's walked the path, who's figured it out,
right?
And just show you what's going on, what's wrong, and you just fix it.
Yep. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So sequencing, I've really been I need to write a book on the damn thing because it's so important. Like everything else, you don't get the sequencing right. Each one of these tools is like breakthrough advertising. It's a great book. It's one of the greatest copywriting books, but it's useless if you don't get the sequence right. You cannot be using this book all like at the wrong stage of your business. You're just going to end up wasting your time and energy. It's a waste of time.
Yep.
Every book here, no matter how good it is, it could be a complete waste of time for you because it's the wrong sequence of things for you.
Yep, that makes sense.
So every program that's out there, whether it's Russell Brunson, whether it's whoever, I don't want to name names, they have great programs and those programs work. But at the right stage and the right sequence of events is when you need
Right.
to use those things to make it work. You don't just go in and use that program and make it work. That's where, because most of those programs don't have a two-way street and don't have a strategic overview of someone who's looking at it and can say, this is the right thing to do at this stage of your business,
Hmm.
or this is not the right thing to do. That's why most programs fail, because
Right.
people go in thinking that I can make that program work at the current stage of my business. Most 90% it doesn't work like that.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah. I know. I got really animated and I talked about 20 minutes. I talked for 20 minutes about this topic because it's like something I I guess it's been brewing in my mind, doing the right thing at the right time. I've been thinking a
Yeah.
lot about it over the last probably year or so as I've been coaching people. But now more and more and more, I feel like this is the most prevalent problem. Even another member in the in my coaching program, and you know that person, we're not going to name names,
Uh-huh.
right?
Right.
He was busy with running an event. And
Hmm.
when I was like, okay, so what's happening with your marketing? He's like, oh, I will probably send one email next week for the event. And that's it. I'm like, that's terrible. You got 10 days. You should be sending crazy ton of emails right now. And
Yep.
then he's like, oh, I don't have the time. And that's the wrong sequence of events. He's doing the wrong things at the wrong time because
Uh-huh.
he's focusing on the product. He's
The
focusing on
logistics.
the
Yeah.
logistics, the operations, the
Yeah.
nuances, like all of those fulfillment and all that crap. But he's not selling and marketing the damn thing. And I was like, okay, if
Right.
you don't have the time, go work with this person and go make this happen. And he was like, okay, I made like, he probably made, I mean, I know the numbers. I don't want to share the numbers, but it's upwards of 5 figures that he made just
Right.
from that little, uh, that little interaction. It's because he
Yep.
didn't get the sequencing right. And he didn't know that he was doing the wrong things. And the
Right.
guy already makes multiple 6 figures. And even then, it was a challenge for him because in his mind he thought he was doing the right thing at the right time.
Right.
But it's only an outsider sometimes who can look at it and say, dude, not the right thing at the right time. Your sequence of events is broken and it's going to cost you tons of money.
Yep.
Right? The conceit of entrepreneurship is what keeps most entrepreneurs stuck. The conceit of an entrepreneur is the assumption that they know it,
Yeah.
that I know I can figure this shit out. I will just throw stuff against the wall and I will figure it out. And the conceit of an entrepreneur is the downfall of the entrepreneur because that's the longest, hardest, most expensive path to building a business.
Yeah. Well, it's an easy trap to fall into because most entrepreneurs I know, what they start a business around something that they understand, and they've been able to do that in their professional life up until now. And they don't realize that that may have been true in programming or in, this or that or some other thing, right? But you can shortcut a lot of that stuff by having somebody, help you do the right thing at the right time in business.
Yeah.
And but it's hard because at the same time, I mean, life experience has shown you over and over again that you are smart enough to figure it out.
Is that true? But life experience hasn't shown you that you are smart enough to figure it out. Because
Well,
otherwise
it has
everyone
in the
would
rest of
be
my professional life, right?
otherwise everyone would be multimillionaires with fast
Right.
cars and fancy houses and everything else. So I'm not
No,
sure if life experiences have shown you that or shown any people that they've been able to figure it out.
no, but my point is, like most of the things that I'm trying to figure out for programming, like for my full-time job or something, I can spend a day or two and I can, I get it knocked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my life experience is I'm smart enough to figure out most stuff within a day or two. And
Mm-hmm.
the realistic thing is that entrepreneurship is a different field. And I don't have the level of experience that I do in programming. And so I don't have the background or I don't have the skills to go in and actually hammer that out. And so what winds up happening is, and I've done this, right? I spin my wheels for years thinking, oh, well, this works better than the last thing, so it must work, right? Without realizing that, hey, if I go talk to this person, they're going to say, why don't you do this? And that's 10, 20, 30 times more effective than the thing that I came up with. But my
Yeah.
my experience has been through my whole life, I'm smart enough to spend a day or two trying to figure it out, and I'll find something that works.
Yeah.
That's my
And
point. And it's an easy trap to fall into.
that is possibly like, if you think about it, that is true for very micro level changes. But if you're
Yeah.
trying to learn any skill or endeavor, if you want to learn golf, are you going to go and say, okay, my experience is I can figure it out because I know I've been able to figure everything out, and I can just go back the ball a few times on the greens, and I think I'll get it.
I think
Or
that's the point, though, is that they become competent and then they have that experience and they don't realize that they're not competent as entrepreneurs and that they need that initial training that you would get from a golf professional or something like that to get you started in the game.
I would venture to say that every stage of your journey, of every endeavor, there is another level that you could achieve if you work with someone who's already already playing at a much higher level
I
in
agree.
every field, that is
Yeah.
available. Music, sports, and like whatever you want to get good at, there is someone who is playing at a higher level. And if you just spend the time and energy with them, and you have to pay to work with those people, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you have to
Yep.
pay to have coaching. You're not going to get it for, and it's not good to get it for free. You want to pay, you want to have skin in the game, because that is what forces you to take action.
Right.
So most of this coaching is like you want to get good at golf, go get a golf teacher who's gonna take your game from zero to like from 100 scoring 130 down to 90s within a few months, because the guy can literally change your swing and change your posture and change your game in no time, while you could spend years playing with your buddies who are all scoring 130, and you're still scoring 130, and you're like, what the hell, man? Oh, I went from 130 to 120 over the last 1 year, instead of working
Mm-hmm.
with a pro who could have taken you from 130 to 90
Right.
within 6 months, right? Someone who knows. And golf is an example. Tennis is the same way, and learning music is the same way. And anything I can think of in life, every endeavor in life, if you are serious about it, you should just pay and get a coach and be and
Mm-hmm.
change your life as a result of it, because your journey will be so much faster and smoother as a result of it. Faster is the key term here,
Mm-hmm.
because people don't understand the opportunity cost in business. It's a very
Yeah.
it's a very vague term to most people. And I think what happens is people think of opportunity cost, or people don't understand opportunity cost. The term what you're thinking is, okay, as long as I can hunker down and make enough money to survive, I can keep investing my time into trying and build this business.
Mm-hmm.
But the opportunity cost of time is so huge
Yes.
that even 1 month of that money that you are trying to quote unquote make, that like a year's worth of money could be made in a month if you had the right guidance. That is the opportunity cost, right? You are like, oh, let me not waste any money because I have a month, I want to work on this for a month. But or I have to, like, we think of, okay, I'm making $10,000 a month. I'm not going to pay $1,000 or $2,000 to a coach because I can figure it out. I can make 11,000 next month or 12,000 next month. Why pay the coach? But you don't
Right.
realize that with a coach, you could go from 10,000 a month to 30,000 a month within a matter of a few months. Stuff that you probably wouldn't figure out in a matter of 12 months. And that is the opportunity cost. So
Yep.
someone having like the challenge of entrepreneurship is that we, at the current stage of our businesses, don't know the right strategic move to go to the next level of business because we haven't walked the path. That's why I have two different coaches, because I want to get to the next level, and I'm working with those people to get my business to the next level because they have walked the path to that level. And I'm never conceited enough to believe that I won't have ever have a coach. I will always have a coach because I know that's the path to higher level performance.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So sequence, strategy,
Yep.
sequence, doing the right
Yep.
thing at the right time, not doing the wrong things at the right time, not doing the wrong things at the right time, not doing the right things at the wrong time, only the right thing at the right time. There's a
Yep.
lot of wrong things that you can do, but there is only 1 out of 100 right things you should do.
Yep.
That's my rant. Yeah.
Oh.
What about you, man? What's going on?
So we did launch the podcast on Wednesday.
All right. Nice.
And we're putting episodes out every day.
Every day. Dang. Did you fix the landing page?
I did update the headline and the copy. I don't think it's converting any better.
You need to split test it.
Yeah. I do need to split test it. So that's kind of the next stage on that. I still have people scheduling through the old scheduling link, and I'm not even sure how they're getting there. They must be getting there by listening to the old bonus episodes or something.
Yeah, this is not a good headline, man. I don't know why you put this headline. This is so vague. I have no idea what it even means.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna sit down and just grind through and see if I can come up with something better.
I told you you need
feedback.
I told you you need to write 30 headlines. You need to sit down for 30 minutes and write a headline. Remember, the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
At this time, so for those who are listening or who are watching but don't know what we're talking about your application page for your podcasting mastermind, right?
Mm-hmm.
The title of that, and anyone can go check it out, devinfluencers.com/apply, right? So currently the title is Change the Coding World and Get Paid for It within 6 months. I have no idea how that is related to what I'm trying to do.
And I think
change
that's
the coding
the
world. I don't know what it means to change the coding world. I don't know what exactly, like, I have no clarity on the outcome there. Change the coding world. Like, what do you mean change the coding world?
Yeah.
Am I going to fire Mark Zuckerberg from his job?
I wish. I mean,
right?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Change the coding world. What does it even mean? Like, I have no idea what it means. And get paid for it within 6 months. Oh, how about I get paid for it tomorrow? And how about I keep getting paid for it every month? How about so this is not a good headline, Chuck. This is probably failing. This is probably even getting worse data, worse results than what you're getting earlier.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. No, this is not a good headline. You need to write headlines. So that's we talked about it in the group right. The headline is your most important piece of the puzzle here. If you don't get the headline right, everything else is just you're spinning cycles, but you're not getting the results. For all the work you're doing, you will not get the results because people are just not. A bad landing page, not fixed. You can send the best traffic in the world to a bad landing page, but if the landing page's promise is broken, you can send 1,000 really qualified people to it, but if it's like it's very vague and it's useless, it's going to convert 10 of those people. But if it's like precisely what they're asking, what they're thinking about, it's going to convert 500 of those people. You could literally double, triple, quadruple your mastermind growth by the right headline. You could have double the number of applicants or triple the number of applicants with just the right headline. Quadruple the number of applicants with just the right headline. 5x the number of applicants with just the right headline. Because right now you're getting 45 visitors, 6 applicants. Probably not even that with this headline. This headline is really bad. You're probably getting out of 100 people, maybe 10 at best to opt in for something like this.
I don't think it's even that good, to be honest.
Yeah, it cannot be because it's vague. It is totally like, I don't know what the hell it means at all. At all.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
So write the headline and subheadline. Keep writing
Yeah.
it until you get it right.
Yeah.
Keep writing 30 of those. Put it on our, on the group coaching
Chat.
thing
Yeah.
and see what people have to say. And
Yep.
on our Voxer app.
Yep. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll do that this afternoon.
Yeah, because if you're going to send all this traffic, 100 people to this page, you might as well get 50 applications, not 5.
Yeah, I should, right? If I had 50 applications and I could convert, I mean, even if I had a low conversion rate, 10%,
that doubles your business.
It more than doubles my business. I mean, that doubles my business, relative to what I have right now.
Yeah.
But if I'm getting, 50 applicants per week, right, then I fill those spots within a month, right? I fill up 2 groups.
Yeah.
Right. And that changes the situation on this a little bit. So yeah, it does. It makes a big difference. And I definitely see with that leverage point, right? Because it's probably a couple hours worth of work to sit down and just.
That's why it is so beautiful, man. Let's take this example because this is so important to get right. Like many people who are listening, they're probably not able to comprehend the scale of strategy and sequencing right now and how powerful these things are. Okay. Over the last 4 weeks, how much time, energy have you spent on the Dev Influencers podcast?
Over the last 4 weeks?
How much time?
Well, recording those episodes took me about 2 hours. Getting the artwork done was probably another couple of hours.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think through it. I mean,
and the mental energy.
Yeah, mental energy. Yeah, that was a lot. I spent a lot of time thinking about what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
And with this, yeah, it'd be a couple hours of, deep work to figure out what that headline should be and get feedback and things like that. But once I have it done and running, yeah, I don't have to spend as much mental energy on it. I can just come back and revisit it periodically and make sure that it's converting.
Yeah, it's safe to say that you probably spent a few days of mental energy and time and effort on launching the podcast, right?
Yeah, I don't tell my work.
but that's more or less, a few days of your time and energy on the podcast launch. And that's going to give you results in the future.
Right.
But what we want is applications for your podcasting mastermind today.
Yeah.
So that you can bring in cash money right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not tomorrow, today. So we need your application. We need you to bring in money at this stage of the business, not a month from today, because that's not really a good use of your. That's just going to run you dry, right? It's going to run you ragged. So the important thing here, if you had just spent 30 minutes, I'm not even saying 2 hours, 30 minutes writing 30 headlines and finding the 2 or 3 best headlines and another 30 minutes, right, creating 2 split test pages, you could have doubled, tripled, quadrupled the conversions on this page. And as a result, the applications for your mastermind, and as a result, the number of people you're enrolling. So if you're enrolling one person a week, you could have gone to 4 people a week. Imagine the momentum you get when you bring in new $4,000 in a week into your business. Imagine the momentum of that compared to the 3 weeks spent on launching this podcast.
Yep.
Right? That is why sequencing is so important, because that changes everything. The cash inflow and the money that you get from doing the right sequence of events at that time shows at a much later time as well, because now everything works much better, cleaner, sharper, and you have so much more momentum. You have so much more confidence that this thing is going to work and it's going to bring you money. And you're going to be like, okay, it's already making us, it's bringing me like 3 new clients every week, or 2 new clients every week, or $3,000 new dollars every week. Man, if I could only spend even more effort on Dev Influencer. Right now, you're like, shit, it's there, it's working, but I have no idea how good the damn thing is. So I'll give some effort to it. But if you could predictably say I can bring in $3,000 in new revenue, $3,000 of monthly recurring revenue into my business every week, that's a whole new freaking business. Within 4 weeks, you have $12,000 of recurring revenue, monthly recurring revenue into the business. That changes the game.
Yep, it does. It absolutely does.
So it's our job to constantly focus on the highest leverage activity and find those highest leverage activities and just keep churning them. Just put the blinders on, get that on. Put the blinders on, get that on. Put the blinders
Yep.
on. Do the highest leverage work, and then move on to the next thing.
Yep.
Well, how many downloads have you gotten for the Dev Influencers podcast?
Let me look. Stats. Switch shows. There aren't any numbers in here. I got to go talk to my team. Should have checked on that on Wednesday when we launched. So, yeah.
You
I know
mean
what I'm
there are
doing
no
right
numbers?
after this.
Huh?
It's not showing up. I think the URLs that they're putting in, I can double check that. I think the URLs are going straight to the media, so I'm not actually getting tracked.
Why? Aren't you using a normal host? What kind of host are you using?
So, oh, they put it under there. Okay. I can look at those numbers. They put it under a different show. So the hosting is on Cashfly, just because I get a killer deal on the storage and bandwidth. I looked at switching, and this is a little bit ridiculous, but I'll share anyway. Oh, not that. Wrong one. Wrong show. So when I looked at switching, I talked to a couple of different companies about switching the shows over. And devchat.tv as a whole utilizes about 2 or 3 terabytes a month in bandwidth when people download our episodes. What do you mean you do not have access to this content? I own the freaking account. All right. Well, they're going to get a nasty gram. Anyway, I mean, why is it even showing it in here then? If I don't have access to, anyway, I can't see the numbers. It won't show them to me. It's saying that there's a permissions issue or something. Anyway, so yeah, so in order to switch it over to another host, I'd wind up, it would have cost me like, one of the hosts, it was like $2,000 a month to host with them. And I pay a lot less than that with Cashfly, just because we worked out kind of a semi-sponsorship deal.
I don't know about that, man. Libsyn is way cheaper than all of that.
Yeah, Libsyn is way cheaper. I don't know what it would take to switch everything over to them. Their UI is horrendous, but
I know, but at least the data is not bad.
Yeah. So
anyways, what's the data? Can you find out?
I'm trying to load it, but it won't show it to me. So I'll have to contact their support and actually see what the deal is. That's frustrating. Yeah, I have been tempted to switch it over to Libsyn or something, just because it's less hassle to manage. But anyway, I'd still wind up paying several $100s a month more than I'm paying now, switching it to Libsyn. because you pay per show, and some of the shows are big enough to where you have to pay for the extra bandwidth and stuff. So anyway, but yeah, I don't know why it won't load up that show, but it won't load up that show. So
you need to get that figured out.
I need to get that fixed. Yeah. So I'll do that today. I almost never look at the download stats, but it would be good to know as we're launching this. Yeah. What kind of traffic we're getting.
Yeah.
So
without that, we have no clue what we're running into. Again, this is one of those things where without data, you can hurt yourself a lot because you're spinning cycles on things that are just not.
Yeah, I don't know if it's getting reach.
You don't know anything. You don't like without numbers right now, you're running blind. And without that sales page or without that application page or that lead gen page working properly, you're again running blind. Right? Because you're sinking effort into something that will not generate any rewards for you because that lead gen page is broken.
Yeah. Yep. That's frustrating. It works for everything else, but it won't work for that one show. Go figure. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that fixed today. So,
how did you launch it? Like, did you talk about it on dev chat and all those things?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably, is it under the name Dev Influencers or what's the deal?
Yeah. Yeah, it's under the name
Dev Influencers. By itself.
Yep. No, it's under devchat.tv. If you go to devchat.tv/devinfluencers.
No, but if I look for a podcast on iTunes.
Oh, I haven't submitted it to the directories yet.
Oh.
Because you can't submit it till you have an episode up on the RSS feed.
Oh.
So I'm doing that today. I'm going to get that all. Well, Michaela's doing that today.
So right now you may not be getting as much or any downloads whatsoever because it's not even submitted to any directories.
Yeah, well, people can subscribe directly to the RSS feed, but yeah.
Well, nobody's going to do that. Like, people don't do that shit anymore these days.
Yeah.
So you probably don't get much of a you don't have much downloads right now from it.
Yeah, so I was just waiting till I had episodes in, but then it still takes a few days to get it approved.
Yeah, I get it. So yeah, right now you probably don't have any numbers from it. That's you got to get those. You got to get the copyright, man. That's really important. That's that landing page copy. The opt-in copy is a crucial component.
Yep. Yeah, so I'll get that figured out this afternoon, and we'll kind of push things ahead that way.
All right. Well, shall we do our thoughts?
Yeah, I also had I'm starting to have calls lined up with companies that are interested in sponsorship. The easiest ones still seem to be companies that sponsored with us in the past. What's interesting too is that some of these companies, they've sponsored with us in the past, but their marketing people have turned over. And so it's kind of we're reestablishing, a connection, and partially like they're a new customer. And so that's been interesting. But there was a company that I was talking to yesterday. And the thing is they have these two guys, and I talked to one of them. So I talked to the marketing director, but podcasts kind of fall a little bit toward demand gen. It's not a clear delineation. And so he's basically got to go get approval to use some of the demand gen budget for podcasts, but they're using the demand gen guy is already sponsoring other podcasts. So he thinks that it's a doable thing, but I should probably have word back from them this next week. And if if that one goes through, then that does actually get us most of the rest of the way out of the hole, right? So then I can just start piling up this money
Nice.
coming in. So that's the other positive thing that's going on. And
Nice.
talking about that one leverage point, it's interesting too, because I feel like that's the other leverage point that I can lean on, right? Is reaching out to at least the past sponsors, and then again just automating. And I between all the other stuff that I've been working on, I just haven't quite gotten to dropping that big list on that sequence, the follow-up sequence, to get the cold outreach done. But that's another one of those, I think, that's not a ton of time and effort, but could be a significant lift.
So the thing about leverage, the game of leverage, is there's leverage inside of so let's say sponsor your mastermind is a point of leverage, but inside the mastermind is another point of leverage.
And that's the headline.
Yeah, inside the podcast, inside the mastermind is another point of leverage, which is the marketing of it. Inside the marketing of it, there's another point of leverage, because you could do marketing in a lot of different ways. You could launch the podcast to spread the word and do all those things, which you were doing. But inside the marketing is another point of leverage, which is that landing page, and so on and so forth. So this game of finding the highest leverage point does never end, because it's always the next move that needs to be your focus in order to get the maximum juice out of your efforts. Every week, you have to clarify, okay, well, this is the point which needs momentum now, and this is the point that needs momentum now, and this is the point that needs inside of sequences, another set of sequences that need to be done right, and inside of that is another set of sequences that need to be done right. Because once people go off the trail, once people go off doing the wrong things inside the sequence, they can ultimately be off track by months.
Right.
And the pain is not so much that they can be off track by months. The bigger pain is that people will lose that momentum and that excitement and the potential for money. Right. And because they won't make the money that they should have been making, they will lose the excitement for making this business grow the way they could have had.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine the joy or imagine the excitement when the mastermind is making you $10,000 a month or $11,000 a month, and every day you show up for a new strategy session with someone. You were like, damn, I crush it now, because I'm already every time I show up and I'm like, okay, we got 11 members. Let's take it to 20 members. Let's take it to 30 members, and so on and so forth. That's a different level of passion that burns when you get the sequencing right.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to conclude with my thoughts for today.
I still have one more thing I want to ask you about real quick.
Right.
So somebody who listens to this show was listening, and we've connected in the past. He and I have. And he mentioned that he had a friend so it was several episodes ago. John basically said, for your sponsorships, you really ought to hire somebody that's done media ad sales, right, to do your sponsorship sales. And he actually knew somebody and referred him to me. I have a call on Monday, but I'm a little bit nervous because I don't even know how to approach it, right, other than just talk to him about what I've been doing and hope
he's
going
to be like radio ad sales guy, but now media ad sales guy, right? So he's probably commission based, hopefully.
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm not going to pay him a salary. I'd rather pay him for everything he finds, or everything he lands, right?
Perfect. That's what you should do.
Okay.
Yeah, you should make him commission based, and for as long as he earns his commission, you keep him.
Yep. So I don't know what a reasonable commission is for a salesperson like that.
I would say whatever. Think about it like, what does it worth to you to acquire the customer?
Fair.
And just give him, right? I would give him an ongoing royalty. I would give him upfront fee, whichever one works for him,
Mm-hmm.
to make him work for you.
Right.
Because if someone's gonna go find me customers for free, I would pay them a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's effectively what he's promising to do.
Yep.
So if he says, okay, if I find you this deal for 3 months, I want 50% of the first month, or I want 20% of the whole deal, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, as the cash comes in, I'll give you 20% of the cash that comes in. And you're
Right.
okay with that, right? I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a good, fair deal for that
Yep.
person and for you, because he's spending the time to find that, and
Right.
you're, doing the work to fulfill it. You can keep making it better, but always be thinking of your salespeople, like commissioned salespeople, especially,
Mm-hmm.
as like, they're bringing in free customers. You should be willing to pay them hefty amounts to keep them happy.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know the
And
perfect number, but
yeah.
whatever makes you, whatever keeps. I think you
Yeah,
should.
that's fair.
My philosophy in business, and it's always been like that. And I think of my affiliates as kind of like that, as in,
Mm-hmm.
my affiliates are like my salespeople who bring me customers.
They kind of
And
are, so that's
right,
fair.
so my affiliates, I'm always like 50% payouts to my affiliates. Anyone who's listening who has a list of people in personal development or in business, and they want to sell our book summary packs, reach out to me, Manny at 2000books.com or support at 2000books.com, and we can talk. Especially if you have a responsive list in personal development or entrepreneurship, our book summaries, we've done hundreds of thousands of dollars in affiliate sales at this point,
Mm-hmm.
with John, with Chuck, and all these people. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. I'm looking forward to working with you. Support at 2000books.com. Um, so yeah, with that said, I think of my affiliates as some of my best partners. So I'm always happy. Like, if you ask John, I've almost always paid him and overpaid him. Like, whenever there was a point where it was even a slightest bit of contention, whether the customer was already existing or if they brought it, I always pay my affiliate no matter what, because I
Right.
know that that relationship is worth way more to me than a one-time customer or 5 customers or 10 customers. That relationship is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna worry about, you know, giving them more money right now, because in the long term we both win.
Yep. That makes sense.
So yeah, I think you can make it a win for them. That's what I think.
Yep. Yep.
Make
Makes
it a
sense.
make it a major win for them, and it becomes a win for you in the long term. As long as they're
Right.
incentivized to do the work for you, you should be willing to pay. Like, as long as they're
Yeah.
incentivized to do the work for you, and you're making money on the back end. Because remember, like, these sponsorship deals, they are huge. Like, once someone
Mm-hmm.
works on it, over time they can pay off for a very long period of time,
Right.
if done right. So it's not just a one-time thing, and you can have it such that it's like recurring royalty. It can be an upfront royalty. It can be so many different ways, or upfront payment.
Yeah.
It can be so many different
And I'm
structures.
happy with that either way, right? I mean, depending
Yeah,
on yeah,
yeah.
what the
So you should,
expectation is. Yeah.
yeah, you should
So
pay him handsomely, is what I say.
yeah, no, that's fair. Should I expect him to do his own prospecting, or should I
Yes.
give him any of okay, so I'm not gonna give
No.
him any of my leads or
Well,
anything like
if
that.
he says he's gonna, like, it really depends. Like, if he says he's gonna go and convert the prospects you already reached out to and you haven't been able to convert, by all means, or maybe give him a list of 100 and see what he can
Mm-hmm.
pull off compared to what you can pull off.
Right.
Right? Why why not? Like, if he can,
Yeah.
I, here's how I think about it. If you have a list of 100 people and he has a list of 100 people, and you are able to convert that list of 100 people into $10,000, and he's able to convert that list of 100 people into $50,000,
Yeah.
dude, have a go at it.
Yeah. Go for it. Yeah.
Keep doing this shit. I'm happy to pay you very handsomely if you keep bringing me
Yeah.
customers at this rate, right? Like,
Yeah.
mining the list is the easy part, my friends.
Yep.
Converting that list into buyers is the hard part.
Yeah. That is
That
absolutely
is
true.
the work.
Yep. All right, cool.
All right. Okay. We're doing our thoughts now.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So my thoughts, or maybe you should go first because I've been talking a lot.
Well, I mean, my thought, and I don't know, I've kind of been on the same kick for a while, right? As far as, just some of the stuff that I've been figuring out. But I kind of want to circle back, and I've made this point a few times, but just knowing what the plan is, right? And not even so much knowing what the plan is, but knowing what you're working toward, I guess is a better way to put it. So, I have a 3-year plan, right? I sat down, I just hammered it out. This is what I want personally, for like my health and my personal life, personal well-being. This is what I want in my relationships. This is what I want spiritually. This is what I want financially. This is what I want professionally, right? Just figured all that stuff out. And
Mm-hmm.
so I have an end date of December 31st, 2023, right? By that date, I want to be in a specific position, right?
Mm-hmm.
In these different areas, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then just sitting down and going, okay, 3 months, right? Or 12-week year. What am I doing over the next 12 weeks to get to, to make significant progress toward that goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, just having that and just reviewing it and just being on top of it and going, okay, this is what I'm working toward. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm going to try and get there. And then having that shorter term focus, if I can achieve this goal, then I can, on my next 12-week year, I can take the next series of steps or the next, leap forward, so to speak, to reach that 3-year goal. And I have to tell you, just going over that and just seeing, envisioning, and I think there's some real power in that, just envisioning the person or the place that I want to be in, the person that I want to be, the kinds of relationships that I want to have, the red Mustang I'm going to buy, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The
it
mid,
really helps me stay on track with a lot of this stuff.
the midlife crisis car.
I've wanted that since I was 20.
Mm.
And you know what? I mean, it doesn't have to be brand new. It doesn't have to be a specific year. It has to be one that I really like. I have, but ultimately, I'm not buying it to validate myself, right? It's something that I've always wanted. And so for me, and that, you're saying midlife crisis, but it's not a validation thing. It really is just hey,
Just
look,
kidding.
this is something I've always wanted. And so, if I am successful to the degree that I would like to be in 3 years, or I should say that when I'm successful to the degree that I will be in 3 years, then I should be able to afford it, right? Without
Mm-hmm.
any problem. And so, and maybe I'll go look at red Mustangs and I'll be like, yeah, this isn't exactly what I wanted. Maybe I'll get something else. But, at the end of the day, it's by having that idea of where I want to end up. And I'll tell you, some of the 2023 goals they sound crazy to me in my head, right? Because I look at them and I'm like, this just seems so unrealistic. But then when I make progress toward those things now, I realize that if I continue to make progress in the ways that I am right now, it's totally doable,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, I can't coast into it. That's not going to work, right? I
Mm-hmm.
have to plan and work and do the work, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But at the end of the day, that's where I'm at. And so what I want to just put out there is, and this is my thought, is figure out where you want to be in 3 years, right? Make it somewhat aspirational. It should sound a little bit like, whoa, that's a lot. And then work on envisioning that on a regular basis. I try and do it every day. I don't do perfectly every day, but I try and do it every day. Envision what that's like. And then I can get in and I can, do my 12-week year and I can say, this is why I'm doing this, and this is why I'm doing this, and this is why I'm doing this. Right. And so, this is why I got out and I went for my run yesterday, right? So I can do the marathon that's at the end of this 12-week year so that I can, because one of my goals in my 2023 plan is to complete a full Ironman. And so, I've got the marathon is something I decided was a milestone on that, right? It's 1/3 of the race,
Okay.
but it's that kind of thing. Okay, and then what am I going to do? Am I going to go do a half Ironman? Am I going to, and so yeah, just those things, and just step by step, just knowing and planning and envisioning and figuring out, this is the next step, and this is the next step, and this is the next step. And yeah, that'll keep you on track. But yeah, then you also have to get coaches, right? So I have a running plan that I picked up from a coach, and they offer support, and I use it, right? And all the things that Manny's talking about here, it takes that too. But if you don't know where you're trying to get to, I think that's the other problem that entrepreneurs run into, is that they want a business, but they're not clear on what that business is or what it looks like. And so they wind up going around in circles because they don't know where they're trying to get to. And so they're not clear on what's going to get them to that place.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to have a clear vision in order to accomplish that vision. I'm going to go back to the idea of sequence. Get the sequence right, my friends, and you will blow up your business. If you want my help in coaching you, join my group coaching program. Apply at 2000books.com/grow. It's for online entrepreneurs who are building their business. But really, it's all about getting the sequencing right. That is the most important strategy move in some ways, because business is a game of strategy, and doing the right thing at the right time with the highest leverage is ultimately where business growth lies. So if you want me to help you grow your business, come join my group coaching program if you're interested. But even if you don't do that, I don't care at all. The most important thing is get your sequencing right and get your strategy dialed in. And not only that, on a week-to-week basis, make sure you're working on the highest leverage things every single time. Don't get seduced by the idea of working on random things, because that just wastes time and energy. The highest leverage thing, right thing at the right time, the right sequence of events, right sequence of things to do. That's the path to ultimate business growth. So,
yep.
That's why. With that said, see you guys next week.